Oh, what up? We back with another episode of BSing with BS. Again, I am your host, Blake Slottick. And today we're just going to kind of riff on some stuff, I guess. I don't really have a master plan for the podcast today. Just kind of figured I'd get another one rolling, keeping the rhythm and keeping it going. Yeah, a little update, I guess, on everything that I'm working on. I've kind of put the stream on hold, I guess, or kind of on the back burner for now, just because I feel I have that set up and have essentially I have a working system. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a great system by any means or anything like that, but we got it pretty figured out on like how I would like to go about it and how to grow it. We just got to essentially commit to doing it if that's what I feel like doing. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Yeah, I'm enjoying podcasting right now, so we're going to keep that rolling, just kind of keep the YouTube channel going and everything like that. Continue to make content all the time and see where it takes us, I suppose. You never know. Possibilities are endless. And main thing that I've been working on lately is the gutter business, you could say. Getting that fired up, getting some jobs, fulfilling the jobs, and just kind of taking the proper steps to organizing and setting up a business. That's what I've been doing the last few days, which have been kind of enjoyable, learning some things and learning what not to do at the same time. Found out that, there's like you can have two different names for a business, your legal name and then like the operating name. And I filed for the legal name and the operating name. Found out later that I didn't like totally mess up the operating name, but I don't think I did it right. So we're just going to have to get that fixed, but that's no big deal. We'll do that pretty quick here or whenever it feels necessary. Otherwise, things are going well there. We're getting her firing, figuring out crews and stuff like that, getting jobs in, working on fulfilling them, which fulfilling them is pretty much the easy part. Just going and doing the work. Nothing too complex about that. Next week is I should be acquiring my CDL license next week. Got my testing day, and I go for a behind the wheel day, and then I go for testing another day. So getting that done. Talked to a friend, or you could say, about how when they went down there to take the tests, and I could been kind of nervous about it, like if I prepared enough, even though I have been driving a lot and practicing a lot, learned everything on the videos and stuff like that. It's all up here in the noggin now. Got a lot of knowledge on driving truck, and so I was kind of nervous though on if I had prepared enough essentially, and the source had told me that they didn't prepare at all for going for their tests and that it was very easy. So fingers crossed. That's how she goes for me as well. Very sure, pretty positive that that's how it'll go. I mean, as far as I know, all I really know about it is a 7-speed truck and a 28-foot trailer that I'll be testing with. And I've been driving pretty sure it's a 9-speed, 10-speed with reverse. And I've been running around with a 40-foot trailer. So you could say I've been preparing, I feel pretty prepared anyway. It's just like driving any other vehicle and backing up any other trailer, just a little bit bigger, maybe a more intimidating, you could say, to some, but we got her handled. It's just getting used to the size of the vehicle that you're in. You adapt to it pretty quick. At least I did personally. All comes down to confidence, really. Yeah. The other thing I kind of wanted to talk about today was like optimization and optimizing your life. I don't have like deep knowledge or anything on this subject, I would say, but I've just been thinking about how much I have and attempted to optimize my life in the last few years, and that just comes down to, for an example, I had a shaved head it's been almost a year now that I've been growing my hair out, but previously to that year, I was shaving my head pretty much bald, you could say. And, I just did it one as kind of like a self-improvement, like self-development challenge. But one of the aspects that I really, I guess, like enjoyed of it compared to having hair now is like when you wake up in the mornings, I never had to think about how my hair looked, and I didn't have to prepare my hair or do anything like that in the mornings. Like you could literally just get out of bed, brush your teeth, and get to work. And there's plus sides to that, but at the same time, like that's not necessarily what life is about. Like I don't feel that we are supposed to optimize every single little aspect of our lives, if that makes sense. But that's what I've been essentially attempting to do for a long time now. Try and get the most amount of things done in the shortest amount of time, and essentially just work, and try and get everything done in a short window so then you can rest. Well, that doesn't happen then because I just continue to work on things, whether they're necessarily productive or working for me. We don't know, but yeah, just essentially like staying busy is what I always was thinking about, and just doing like kind of a lot of things at once to optimize my time. Essentially, being like, okay, I'd work on example A for 2 hours, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm done with example A. Let's go right into B for another 2 hours, and then into C for 3 hours. And when thinking about it now, if I stayed on example A, or now moving into the future, I will stay on example A and work on that for 2 hours. And when I don't feel like necessarily doing that task anymore, just kind of take a break, like take 5, 10, 15 minutes off, a half hour, however long it has to be. And then go back, though, to that same task and continue getting that done, because when you focus on one thing, you tend to excel quicker than, working on 15 things at once. I had kind of come up with this analogy the other day that, like when you're eating something, you can only put so much in your mouth and it gets full, right? Excuse me there. And so how do I say this properly now? So yeah, you eat so much, like basically you're taking big bites of food, right? And you just take a big bite of this, and your mouth's half full, and then you go take a big bite over here, and now your mouth's really full, and then but I want a big bite of my dessert yet, and your mouth's too full. You can't do that in that amount, like a short window. You gotta slow it down essentially. So what I've been working on overall is taking smaller bites and finishing them faster, and then moving on to the next smaller bite, if this makes sense. When I was thinking about this in my head the other day, this sounded way better than what I'm saying now, but I hope it makes sense to you. And if it doesn't, let me know and I'll work on it. But yeah, essentially biting off more than I could chew is like the moral of the story type thing. So now I'm focusing on taking smaller bites that are manageable, that you can chew up faster, get down in the stomach, and take another smaller bite, And then just keep chipping away. And eventually, the meal's gone. I hope that made sense. I have no idea, I kind of went on a little tangent there from optimization, but yeah. I was just talking with a friend, though, this weekend about optimization as well, and essentially, like I said, trying to optimize every little piece of my life, get out of bed right away, make the bed as fast as you can make it, fucking get downstairs, straight to the laptop, start working on this, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was attempting to optimize so much, sometimes, you just forget to eat. Well, you got to eat. Big dogs got to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to fuel your body in order to do any kind of work, whether that's mental work, physical work, and anything really. You got to have a healthy body. And I am all over the place right now, but yeah. Moral of the story, don't necessarily focus on optimizing every single little aspect of your life. yes, there are things that can be optimized, and after you do them for a little while, you figure out how to do them better, and you do them quicker, and you do this. But like that comes with time and experience, a little bit of experience too. Just doing the task every single day is gonna essentially force you almost to optimize because you're gonna. Personally, I will figure out little things that I did need to do and that I didn't need to do. So then when you start cutting out those things that you didn't need to do and you focus just on the stuff that you did have, need to get done, the stuff just seems to get done faster. And it probably all comes back just to focusing on one thing and not more than, not too many things at once. Man. I hope that all tied together. I hope that I put the plane in the air and we landed it down. And yeah. If not, sorry about that. Um, yeah, another little funny story I guess I could kind of wanted to share with you guys is over the weekend. Then I had my old iPhone 13, and I was out mowing lawn, and it has fallen out of my pockets many a times mowing the lawn, right? But the way that like the lawnmower is essentially built, when it drops out of my pocket, like it either falls into like all the metal housing and everything next to the seat, so it just sits there, or it'll fall at the back of the mower, and like my headphones will disconnect when I get out of range, and then I'll be like, oh, lost my phone, and I'll end up just like kind of going back and grabbing it. Well, this weekend it fell out of my pocket where I was in a place with the lawnmower where I kind of needed to back up a little bit. Had not noticed the phone fell out of my pocket, and all of a sudden my headphones just disconnect, and I was like, oh, okay. So I lost my phone somewhere. So like I'm about to get off the mower to go like look for it, and all this. It's funny now, but it was not funny in the moment. I was quite upset. But so yeah, then like I get off the mower, and all of a sudden I'm looking in the ditch, and like I just see scattered little like it didn't even look like metal, to be honest. Like I keep saying tinfoil to everybody that I tell this story to, because it literally just looked like you took tinfoil, shredded it up into like just little pieces or something like that, like just small chunks, and threw it out into the grass. Like that's what an iPhone turns into versus mower blades, if you were wondering. And let's see, I got my phone here. I do have a picture of it, and I will pull it up and attempt to show you. By the way, this is my new phone now. Had to go get that on Sunday. But let's see here. Hopefully you guys can see this through the camera, and like maybe I'll pop it up on the screen, but that's what an iPhone turns into when you run it over with a lawnmower. It's literally just aluminum scraps. Like I did not find any solid pieces. I found this camera housing. Obviously all the cameras and everything were shattered, but like the metal little housing was there. I found half of the base chunk of the phone, must be more of a solid metal than the rest, and I found the processing chip. Otherwise, it was literally just essentially tinfoil and copper laying out in the out in the ditch. So that was a pretty fun experience. It kind of really showed me how much we are tied to devices and stuff like that, and not necessarily like tied to it, but almost dependent on having a cell phone and stuff like that. And it wasn't necessarily, about the phone that I was kind of upset. It was just a few different things stacking on top of each other. And once the phone broke, I just kind of, had enough. I was just like, for lack of better terms, F this, like I'm just done. We're just gonna go relax for a second. And yeah, we got her sorted though. like I said, was not funny in the moment, but now I can look back on it and laugh, so that's a good thing. And we got a new phone, better phone now, way better, cameras better, coolers, all kinds of new features on them now, which are nice, I guess. More storage so I can record even more videos and not have to worry about running out like we did last week. So that'll be nice. And yeah, there's a plus side to everything, right? You just have to take some time to maybe see it. I think that's all I really got today. Didn't have too much to say, just like I said, wanted to stay in the rhythm of keeping this in motion and keeping a semi-consistent posting schedule. Even though I did realize before recording this that I don't even know what days I've been posting it. I've just been trying to get one out once a week or one every other week or something. So we gonna keep getting her better. We gonna figure out maybe this lighting situation a little more because I'm still not sure if it looks right or if I got glare on me or there's weird shadows everywhere. But that's part of learning, right? We're getting there. So hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day, night, whatever it may be when you're watching this. Subscribe to the show and drop a like and a comment. Thanks. Have a good one.